Hello, everybody. It is 5:31. I will call this meeting to order. We are the Monroe County Women's Commission. It is Thursday, May 15th. My name is Susan Hingle. I'm the chair. The commission shall serve in an advisory role to assist residents, businesses, and the government of Monroe County in addressing issues of gender equity. The mission is to advance the status of women and marginalized genders in all areas of county life. Sent out the agenda earlier this week. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda, or are there amendments that need to be made?
Motion to approve.
Second. Tiana's online.
I will have to do, Tiana, are you there? Your roll call if she is not responding.
I think you can do whatever you want to do.
True, we know that. Well, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay. If I get Tiana on, I will include her in the roll. You sent out the minutes.
And then there was a revision that I hadn't updated the positions, so I sent that out revised about 25 minutes ago. So I'm not sure if everybody had a chance to review that.
Would anybody like to make a motion with the minutes approved from the meeting from last month?
I can move to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great. Commissioner updates. I don't have an announcement and acknowledgement that I would like to make is to make sure, I don't know why I haven't announced this before, is that there is a gender diverse queer clinic that runs one Sunday a month at the South Rogers IU Health facility. It's run by the IU School of Medicine, and it is the doctor sponsored is Dr. Cassandra. I can't think of her name, but just as a note of reference, it opened last October. They've had 8 clinics so far. They have treated 30 community members and got some on healthcare, I believe, and they are trying to raise funds. They have about $700, but I know that they are trying to raise more. So just as an FYI, that is a community resource out there that I would look up. I believe you can on social media.
What's it called?
Oh yeah, and Dr. Cassandra Dishman, Dishman Kelsler. It's called the GDQC. It's the Gender Diverse Queer Clinic. It's held one Sunday a month on the South Rogers IU Health location. Right there at Peterson, and there's a...
Like where Mateague's office is? No.
You know everything about the IU health system. It's right south of the dermatology.
Yeah.
So,
You know which Sunday?
I don't know if it's consistently like every second or first, but I can find it. I will let you guys know. Anyway, wrong calendar. Oh, it was on Sunday, May 4th. The next one will be not consistently the first Sunday. The next one is June, sorry for the delay, June 22nd and it's all day, so I'm guessing probably 9 to 3 would be considered all day. And that's all I have. Julie?
All right. So, yeah. So continuing on with the topics that I'm trying to take a look at for statistics for women and marginalized genders in Monroe County, the topic I'm looking at this month is, I'm calling it living with penalties. And it's looking at lack of money, lack of housing, and being incarcerated. Those are the things that I ended up having time to look into at least. So starting off with lack of money, the sources that I ended up looking at are, some of them are going to be repeats from the topic that I looked at last month. So some of the sources are similar. So Data USA was a source that I went back to again. And in Monroe County, Indiana, in 2023, seems to be 2023 is about the most recent date for all of this that I was able to get to. It shows that around 20% of the residents in our county are living in poverty, and that's like a total number all across the entire population, so roughly 20%. Within that 20% of the population living below the poverty line, a little over half of those people are female. So looking at age groupings, you do see that a majority of those living in poverty in Monroe County are in the age group of 18 to 24, which is kind of your classic college student age, although I'm sure not all of those people are college students. But there was something that I found that I think was concerning when I noticed what the numbers were showing, was that almost 3,500 females living in poverty were 35 or older, and slightly less than 2,500 males were living in poverty who were 35 or over in 2023. So there's this disparity that seems to be happening. And even if there are more women over 35 than men in Monroe County over 35, and I don't know what the numbers are there overall, but it seems like there's a big difference between men and women as older adults in our county living in poverty. And it seems to be impacting women more, which was, at least in 2023, that was kind of an interesting thing to encounter. So another source that I ended up looking at is for data that's referring to something called ALICE, and that's an acronym for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, and Employed. And this is indicating that people are living above that federal poverty line that previous source, the Data USA stat was getting at, but they're still not able to afford the basics. And the source that I went to looking at Monroe County is an organization called United for ALICE, and their information is coming from what they've established as the ALICE threshold, and in combination with the American Community Survey data from the US Census Bureau. So this is providing more nuance than just a poverty line. So it's recognizing that living just above an official poverty line is a hardship, and one that often comes with the penalties of not qualifying for help. So the summary for Monroe County, Indiana, based on this analysis from United for ALICE, highlights in particular a category of single female-headed households supporting children. And this was something that I kind of focused in on from the data that they were sharing. And in 2023, which is again the latest date that they have for this, there were 2,645 households that were supporting children that were headed by single females, and that's in total. And that's almost a quarter of all households with children in the county, by the way. So within that set, that 2,645 households with children headed by single females, 1,804 of those households are living below the ALICE line or living in poverty. So that is 68% of single female-headed households that are supporting children are living with significant financial hardship in our county as of 2023.
What was that percentage? I'm sorry, that last one.
68%. So neither the Data USA information nor the United for Alice information offered anything regarding marginalized genders beyond women. So I did go look at Human Rights Campaign, and they have a report that came out sometime after the start of 2022 about understanding poverty in the LGBTQ plus community. And there's also, in addition to that, the Williams Institute at UCLA produced a report on a study from 2020 that's called Pathways into Poverty, Lived Experience Among LGBTQ People. So these are reports, and they're using small samples and more qualitative data, and they don't have like state level or county level information or any survey data that they're using, but they both talk about patterns and experiences over time that impact marginalized communities and can result in transgender and non-binary people experiencing poverty and severe financial hardship. So there's potential. I think there's maybe something more to look into with what those reports are talking about and potential data sources that can be used to investigate further. So that was as far as I got for looking at lack of money. And then looking at lack of housing for the state, the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority, they each year gather the point in time results from all counties in the state that will report them, and Monroe County reports that every year. And the last report they have is from a point in time survey on January 24th, 2024. So a year ago, this past January. And at that point, that day, there were 350 total persons counted as homeless in Monroe County. And of those, 143 were women or marginalized genders. So that's 41% of people counted that day were homeless in Monroe County were women or marginalized genders. In addition to that, we also have Heading Home of South Central Indiana, which has a data dashboard. And it's more recent data for tracking homeless people in all categories. They have counts that are as recent as April. And in April, they had a count of 454 people that were actively homeless in Monroe County. And that was last month. So their category breakdowns are not exactly what I'm trying to find, but they look at single people over 25, families, and veterans. But they don't have breakdowns of those numbers between men, women, or other marginalized genders. So we don't have the more recent data. Doesn't have the breakdowns that I'm trying to find. But it might be worth following up with them to see if that's information that they do have and could share somehow, possibly. And then Data USA, the summary that they have for Monroe County from 2023, also has a view into severe housing problems. And that's a concept that's coming out of, that's really coming out of the US Department of Housing and Urban Development. They do tabulation on US Census Bureau data for 4 categories of severe housing problems. And then the County Health Rankings and Roadmaps report from the University of Wisconsin Population Health Institute was sharing that information out, and that's what Data USA was pulling through, basically. What the severe housing problems that the U.S. Census that HUD, the Housing and Urban Development, is looking at is overcrowding, high housing costs, lack of kitchen facilities, and lack of plumbing facilities. And the data for Monroe County in 2023 was showing that 20% of all households in the county are experiencing at least one of those 4 severe housing problems. So that seems somewhat significant. So we don't know how many of those households. There's no breakdown there for our single female-headed households or other marginalized genders heading those households. But if I'm understanding the data correctly, it seems like there's potentially something more to consider there and look into, because it's not necessarily lack of housing, but it's seeming to be a severe problem for housing for folks in the area. And based on what else I'm seeing, it seems like women and marginalized genders are probably being impacted by that. So then the final area I looked at was incarceration. And The Vera Institute of Justice has a report for Monroe County, Indiana, that I ended up looking at the most. Their data is coming from the Bureau of Justice Statistics Annual Survey of Jails, the Census of Jails, and Mortality and Correctional Institutions data. But that data is not something, it's publicly available, but you have to either log in through a member institution or I think potentially create an account. So I was not able to get beyond this, what the Vera Institute was telling me. But they do, the Vera Institute report does have information directly from the Bureau of Justice Statistics, and it does have breakdowns for women and men at least. But it's only going up through 2019, so that's a little bit older in terms of data, I think. And what they showed for women in Monroe County is an interesting graph that showed jail population for women from 1970 to 2019. So it was a big, long time period that they showed the jail population. And it was as low as 2 people in 1983, and then it peaked at 52 in 2018, and then went slightly down to 47 in 2019, which was last year for data. So, and I know that there's been changes in that population, but that is out there in terms of trying to find data. That's as much as we have available out there that I could find. So the report also is interesting because it shows jail admissions for women, and that information is a graph they show from 2000 to 2019. So it's not the same time range, but admissions they're showing from 2000 to 2019. And what was interesting to see was that the lowest point, the lowest number of admissions was 2000, and the highest number of admissions was 2019. So it pretty much was just like this straight upward trajectory. There was a spike starting in 2016, but in 2000, there were 450 women admitted into the Monroe County Jail, and by 2019, there were 1,288. So it is a pretty significant rise in jail admissions. And what the Vera Institute is pointing out is that this is following national trends of exponential growth in the number of women being held in local jails. So we are tracking right along with apparently everybody else in the country. So let's see. So it might be possible to dig into this more by getting into creating an account or logging into a member institution. Indiana University potentially is a member institution. I'm not quite sure. But it is these statistics are supposed to be publicly available if we can log in to get to them. So there might be more that we can look at there. It's also possible that we could be asking questions of the sheriff's office for more recent information too for that. I think a summary for all of this is, from what I'm seeing, as of 2023, women who are older or on their own supporting children seem to be more likely to be living in poverty or suffering financial hardship in Monroe County than men. And women or other marginalized genders seem to also be a large portion of people in our community lacking housing, and there's also concerning data about households experiencing severe housing problems, although it isn't clear how much of this is impacting women and other marginalized genders in the county, from what I can see. And women are increasingly incarcerated in our county jail, at least up through 2019. But we do need to find out more about other marginalized genders living in poverty or suffering financial hardship in Monroe County, and see if there's more to know about women and other marginalized genders in our county jail, either from those national surveys or requesting that data from the sheriff's office. So, but there seem to be some significant penalties that women and marginalized genders are living with in our county at this point. So that's adding that topic into the last topic and trying to figure out, what our sources are shaping up, to look like, and what this kind of visualizes as a snapshot. I don't know. We'll see if how that develops. So, and Eve has been super awesome and said that she would take a look at how to turn that into something that is a summary, a visual summary. And now I'm trying to remember what the topic I was gonna potentially do for next month is, and I don't recall. Give me a second. Oh, I don't think I have it on handy.
Would you be able to send that updated info to me?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Would you be able to send that updated info to me?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
wonderful. Thank you.
I will send it to you and to Molly. And so because there's URLs, links, and things. So, oh, here we go. Oh, next month I put down that I was going to look at education as a topic. So we'll see what that looks like. Not quite sure.
That's great information. Like, I was really intrigued. Thank you.
It's kind of interesting to see like where this information is showing up and how, like, what you can get to, what you can find out, and what it seems to mean. And I'm like, am I reading this right? Am I interpreting this correctly? You know, yeah.
I'm curious, Susan, but this is for us too, as far as the data committee. I'm curious if there's anything in this report, or we wait until you're done with your reports and get the summary and see if there's anything that the data committee wants to pick up. Because I'm curious about this in particular, regarding today's report, if the increase in incarceration for women also like correlates with an increase in women living at or under the poverty level in the county.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel also that it would be interesting to see, and I don't know why it would be interesting, but people may typically think about women raising children as, single mothers, blah, blah, blah. I am curious about the percentage of the population being grandmothers.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Because
it doesn't get into that detail.
Because your age range is trending up, you said.
Yeah.
And so then that would perhaps indicate grandmothers. And I'm just, as a qualitative anecdotal thing, I was at a track meet the other day at the high school level, and I was looking around. Maybe I'm just feeling my age or something, and I don't know how old I look, but I looked around and I was like, a lot of these people seem to be like grandparent age that are, they could be 50. I don't know. But I was like I said, qualitative, like anecdotal.
Well, we know that's a trend, right? I mean, I don't have any data to back that up, but I knew that's been a trend. It's trending for a while now, right?
Oh, that's interesting. It wasn't anything that was coming out when I was looking at the Alice information. I would think that it would potentially be something that they would try to point out if it is more grandparent or not, but maybe not. I mean, maybe they don't know. I'm not sure.
And I don't know if that would be specified. I don't know what census stuff looks like, but it might be interesting in that I'm curious if women caring for children have different needs than, say, a younger person. Like if there's any difference in that. As far as supports go.
That's true. Yeah. I think that is interesting. And it wasn't something that I had considered when I was thinking what, a female-headed household supporting children looks like. Like, what does that mean? There could be all sorts of situations that are represented there.
Situations,
yeah.
Would be interested, maybe. I don't know. Trustee's office, what kind of information they have.
I think the schools know whose grandparents are involved in the kids' lives and who may be in charge of the kids. I hear that off and on from the schools.
And we have to decide. These are just things that were interesting, and so we would have to decide for what, why do we want to know these things?
Well,
are they actionable things, or because we don't want to just be gathering information to gather, for it to not go anywhere. So
what I'm thinking we're shaping up here is a snapshot, I guess, of the status of women in Monroe County and marginalized genders in Monroe County as of a certain time, and it's going to potentially end up being a range, but it seems like 2023 is about as recent data as we can really get to. But then once we've got that picture, if we're seeing these areas of concern, then it's are there things locally that we can investigate more and find out more about? And if we want to track these over time, that's why I'm kind of interested in what the sources are. Like, where am I finding this information? What's the data? Where's the data coming from that these reports are basing their information off of? You know, and are those reports going to be available into the future? And I guess we don't know. You know, so if we've got this snapshot now, we've got at least something for Monroe County, for women and marginalized genders in Monroe County, and then hopefully we're able to continue looking at that data moving forward. But if not, we've at least got that.
Yeah, that's a good plan. I like that the status report. And if I recall correctly, the sheriff did say that there is supposedly that public, but
I've
we've
looked
never
for it,
been
but I've
able
never
to
been able to find it.
the
Yeah.
public report on the demographics of
There was supposed to,
people who are incarcerated.
my understanding was that there was supposed to be a dashboard from the sheriff's office, but it has not actually been made available yet publicly, I think. So maybe it's out there, but it's just not something that is available yet. I don't know. I don't know.
And one last note that I wanted to make is that also, from my experience in education, women are historically underreported as homeless and poverty because women are able to couch surf. Women are resourceful, as we all know, and so they are less likely to be underreported as poverty and homeless. So.
You mean more likely to be underreported?
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Less likely to be known.
Yes.
More likely to be underreported.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really interesting that the point in time data included gender, included men, women, non-binary. Like it was pretty detailed. And so, but the more recent active data being gathered by Heading Home from South Central Indiana, they don't do that gender breakdown. So
At least on the public dashboard.
not publicly, at least, yeah.
So Julie, I mean, I can't figure out how to raise my hand on this thing, but this is Tiana.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I was wondering, had you got any information? There's a group in Bloomington. I think I'm not sure what it stands for, but I'm gonna find it out because I know some women that are part of this group. It's called TC. Have you heard of that? And it's a group that they have multiple cohorts that help women get out of poverty.
No, I don't know what the group is that you're talking about. That would be great to know about.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pass it as you were talking, and I was hearing all this great information that you definitely got a snapshot of how women or marginalized groups are doing. I'll get you that information because I wonder how that group has been successful on decreasing the amount of women with kids and helping them out of poverty. But they get mentors and different things. So I'll forward that information on to you.
Thank you. Yeah, that'd be great.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I'm looking at the sheriff's office website or app that I have on my phone, trying to see if there's.
Oh, maybe is it on the app?
Well,
I didn't
they
even
post
really think about the
like the
app.
daily, or they post monthly activity updates. So, but not broken down by gender. So.
Okay. Yeah, I've been looking at website stuff. I haven't considered any like mobile apps or anything like that. So.
Anybody have any questions or comments for Julie?
Yeah.
So we have comments by or updates from any other commissioners. I'm going to go with Maria.
Thank you. Happy Asian American Pacific Islander Month to me. No, I'm just kidding. To everybody. Okay. So I wasn't present at the meeting last month, but I did clearly look at the notes. And so a couple comments that I had, I was really interested in the 39% of women agricultural producers here in Monroe County. And I'm curious if there's something that we could do to support or amplify or something those women agricultural producers, and potentially something maybe with People's Market. I don't know, but I mean, we're talking about Black farmers or farmers that are Black at People's Market, but maybe they would have some suggestions or whatnot, but definitely we would want to talk to those women. I feel like that's something that we would want to support, you know, sustainability and taking care of the land, you know, and things like that. I thought it was also interesting that Indiana, oh, you talked about business ownership. Indiana, or you said Monroe County is 14% women-owned businesses, and I researched that. By that I mean I typed it into Chat GPT. Let's not get it twisted, and it said that the Bureau of Labor Statistics said that that is notably lower than state and national averages, and Indiana is in the top 10 states for women-owned businesses, according to the National Women's Business Council annual report. So Indiana is, but then Monroe County is notably lower, is what it said.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I was curious about that 14%. I was
Right.
like,
Yeah.
that seems low. And then also, I just want to pass on, you've probably seen it on my socials, but here, I can't see and I can't remember things. Midwest Action Coalition, Indiana Task Force, Hoosier Asian American Power, Chris Mino, Megan Betts, and Kylie Brown of Monroe County. We partnered, and there is now a free contraceptive vending machine at Gather on the Square. That's 116 North Walnut. There are all kinds of contraceptives, internal, external, dental dams, menstrual products, pregnancy tests, etc. So please spread that information far and wide. We are very happy and excited and proud to bring that. It's one of 3 vending machines in Indiana. The other, there's one in Indianapolis and one in Tippecanoe County. So again, that's at Gather 116 North Walnut.
So at a meeting this morning where that was also promoted, and there were about 50 people in the room, so I was excited to hear it there.
Oh, yay. Somebody talked about it?
So the woman from Gather,
Oh.
Talia,
She's amazing.
she talked about it right there in the meeting. She announced it. It was great.
Oh, yay. She's amazing. It's such a perfect fit.
That is
Such a
so
perfect fit.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for doing that, making that happen.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. Eve, do you have any updates you'd like to share?
Yeah, well, I don't know so much about an update, but I was just wanting to run something past you before I decided to go ahead and do it. But I had this idea for a project that I wanted to work on with you guys. Or, I mean, I guess it would be like a solo project, but like something that maybe we would try to find a way to like get published either through the Monroe County website or some sort of other means. But I had this idea like a couple of days ago because I was like thinking of like how ways that I would be able to help my community here, that is of course the transgender community. And I decided, I thought like, well, one of the main things that I feel like is the reason why there's so much animosity towards us and so much disdain towards us is that there isn't really like a real face to put on us, at least like in the way that we are portrayed like in media or even just talked about in the news and all that sort of stuff. There's never really much of like actually portraying like real trans people. I mean, you get like celebrities and stuff, of course, like Laverne Cox and Hunter Schafer and Elliot Page and so on and so forth, but like these are celebrities. These are people that are like, you know, on a much higher plane than we are, like financially and like celebratory and all that sort. So I wanted to put together like a photo series, and I have like a journalism background that I work in of like just interviewing and talking to all different sorts of trans people and non-binary people within our community, and talking to them about like their experiences within this community, how they have felt welcome, how they felt unwelcomed, hear how it's gotten either better or worse over the years, especially if I was talking to people who are like elder trans people and such, especially because their stories almost never get told on any level. But I would like to be able to talk to them and all these sort of things, get like a different photos of them and whatnot, and provide all these different stories. I would love to do like to have like a video aspect to it, though I don't really personally have much experience with videography. I've spent about 11 years as a photographer, so like I know that side of things. I don't really know how to do videos, so I would probably need like some assistance in that regard. But yeah, this is something I've been like thinking about for a while, of like something I've been really wanting to do for the past few years now. And I think like, of course, I mean, everyone in here is super like talented, but also like usually trans people tend to be a little bit more closed off from like talking to someone who isn't trans about their experiences, because there's been a long history of like when you try to like portray our stories, usually even on like good intentions, there's been like some mistakes or like some things that end up like kind of being bad. So I think like maybe having like that sort of leg up could like make it easier for me to be able to like interview them and talk to them and such. But yeah, I don't know. Is that something that you guys would be interested in like having done?
I'm for that, all 100%.
I would. Is this something that we want to vote on and just be like, go see how you want to try to do this? Or yeah, I mean, with the outreach committee?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like part of the outreach, but also feels like, I think to vote for me would be a proposal in a sense of, I don't know how we would use it as a not a platform, how we would support, or I don't know.
Well, I was also thinking like, because we have social media, right? So I was thinking like, especially with, we don't.
Not as a women's commission.
No, we don't.
Individually, we would.
Oh, I can help with that. If that's
No,
something
we're
you're
not
interested
allowed.
in. Why, really?
We're actually not allowed.
Because it's a government
Yes, but we
organization? Oh,
can,
that's so unfortunate,
We
but
can
that makes sense.
personally.
we potentially could use
Counties.
the county's social media.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I was thinking too, of like, especially with like the video aspect, if I can get someone to be able to help me out with that, if I can like hire a videographer or something like that, or just make something work with someone, like we could have like little video series that can be like published of just like so-and-so, like
I see
either like
Kat's wanting to do be supportive of that, right? I mean, is it part of a cat series or part of the,
Are you familiar with cats? You know what cats is? Okay.
or even the radio's WFHB, or I don't know. I mean, as a platform to get this, to share the stories, and I mean, I don't know anything about cats, but I think that would be a great place in my mind to start,
Good
would be to
investigate.
discuss with them about the possibility of using, because the library has those spaces.
Yeah.
So to be able to use those spaces to help, interview stories and, share those stories out.
And so also, if we didn't have, like, if Pat didn't have the capacity, I'm sure that there's students in the Luddy School or in the another school on campus that would be more than willing to help. I think it's a great idea, and it could be. I think it is something that outreach can pair with. I'm not speaking for my other friends on the committee, but I think it's something great that we could do. I think that's a great idea.
I also wonder about the combined now City and County Human Rights Commission, if there would be some support there. I know that person in the Community Family Resources Department heads that up. His name is Michael Sherman, so I'm sure you could contact him in Community Family Resources and see if there's be any fight for that at the Human Rights Commission. Sounds like one of the right places to investigate anyway.
So I think we think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
So we're
That's good
we're
to
like,
hear.
going full speed ahead. So yes, I feel like that the Women's Commission's support would be to amplify and to support your project. I think it would be, and I feel like it, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it might be similar in terms of the status on women, a status on trans and non-binary, or did you want to just do transgender, or did you?
Well, yeah, I was wanting
Yeah.
to specifically focus on trans and non-binary folks.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be
specifically
great.
because they're so like such a marginalized group that almost never gets any
That's
sort
right.
of voice.
So let's gather, let's make history. Let's gather that information and get it down in the books, as they say. I don't know who says that. I just said it. And let us know how we can support, I think.
Yeah, I think if there's anything that requires funding, like to hire a videographer or anything along those lines, like something like that would end up needing to be proposed for somebody to, like county council or somebody to commissioners to approve, if that's necessary. And then also, I think probably if we want to see this out on county like website, social media, something like that, that's also, I guess, something that would have to be approved,
See that.
proposed,
It's
something along those lines.
Disturbing.
So, but that, like, I'm not sure when in the point of the project that sort of thing would need to happen, but that's maybe something to like kind of keep in the back of your mind as you're thinking about how that should form up.
Oh,
Is everyone okay?
there's somebody on the roof over there. I don't want to go.
Hanging out. That's great.
Yes.
Yay, we've been waiting. Yes, we've been waiting
I
for
think
you.
I think it would be a great idea once we have the plan in place and everything. We use this as a going to propose and maybe our first one to say, hey, we really want this on the Facebook page, or we really want
Yes.
support. And we would just have to facilitate who's going to the meeting and present the project. So if you need help with that, I think we're all willing to.
Yeah, I would say,
Yeah.
yeah, project proposal, research with partners, resources, funding resources if necessary. So
Yes.
I think that would be a good step. But I think obviously we're all 100% on board with figuring out how to amplify those voices that never had an opportunity to be told before. So
So you want her to do a project proposal?
I think so, just to give it some structure and to figure out what resources are needed, right? I mean, is that what you're thinking? Yeah.
Yeah, especially if it ends up needing, like, if you need a videographer for something and it's not something that CATS is able to do, or you can use those, if you've got to have something that's funded somehow, we probably want to know that sooner than later.
And remind me again, who is it that I would be submitting that proposal to?
Us.
Oh, just you guys.
Yes.
Okay. And would I just be like, sorry,
You're fine.
I just so that I like get all my ducks in a row here. So would I just be like writing out a document explaining just everything that I'm planning out to do and what all that sort of thing? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds very doable.
That and Chat GPT and see what they say.
I also wonder about the school system, if they're doing anything with that issue with the students.
Yeah, I was thinking of reaching out to the LGBTQ Cultural Center. I don't know how much I would be able to get done now with them, considering like school just got out, but I might be able to just start something up with them once the semester comes back in.
Or even the public school system, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the local teenage population or whoever, what age groups, right, in the public schools.
It would be interesting to see what, I mean, and a part of that story too would be, to me, learning what resources that are out there or that are needed in the sense that, I mean, yeah, especially if you could tap in, I mean, I don't know with minors how that's, get stories told, but I know that they're, a very at-risk population in ways that being able to share those stories and provide support and, yeah, would be good.
We had a speaker when we were still having speakers who was the mom who
Yes.
went up to the state house. Is that somebody we could put
Beth
Eve in touch with?
Lawson.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then they have some support and resources as well.
Yes. Beth would probably be.
I
there.
can look back through our notes. I'm sure it's in the minutes and agenda.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely Beth.
It's Beth Clausen, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So I can look that up and email her information to you as well.
Wonderful. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Anything else from you, Eve? Nope. Miss Molly, do you have any updates you'd like to share?
I don't have any updates.
Okay. Ms. Belton?
I'll wait till it's outreach time. I do have a couple of updates and some questions to ask.
Okay, thank you. Tiana, you still there? That you have any updates that you'd like to share?
I'm still here, but I don't have any updates.
Counselor Feidel, do you have anything you'd like to share with us?
Just in the throes of what we're going to do with less money.
Yeah.
So take a deep sigh. Okay. The next item on our is the old and ongoing business. We can start with the policy committee with Commissioners Hardesty and Douglas.
Yes. We did not have a meeting in April. Our next meeting is going to be sometime in the next week or two. I think we have to shift it around from its regularly scheduled time, but we are meeting this month at some point. And we are working through the resources and other rubric examples that the gender studies librarian at Indiana University shared with us. And that's going to be something we'll be discussing in terms of the gender equity rubric that we're developing, and if we want to make any adjustments based on those new resources to consider. In addition to that, since we do know that the new jail facilities are kind of moving forward, plans are forming up, and things are being considered around budgeting, and now there's maybe more wrinkles with budgeting. We are also looking at the plan as it was stated at the end of February, and Maria and I are considering public comment statements to remind folks on the Board of Commissioners as well as County Council about the recommendations that the Women's Commission made to the JFAC Committee, Justice Fiscal Advisory Committee, last year. And to encourage that if there are going to be cuts made in the plans, that things that have been planned in the jail facilities to support women and marginalized genders should not be part of those cuts. So
I think that's an excellent idea. We always have 3 minutes of public comment at both of those sessions, so anytime.
yeah, we've been kind of going back and forth with each other about, like, is this something that we can just do as a public comment? Is it, we've got statements written up, and, do we need to be more formal with it from the Women's Commission? But
So
I think
anything not on the agenda is public comment.
Yeah.
So anytime.
Yes, so I think that is the plan. So we're hoping we can work this out to be part of public comment for that at the next county council meeting and the next Board of Commissioners meeting.
Yeah, the council meeting's the 27th, and I don't have the other one memorized. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we've been looking at the schedule, so yeah. Is that all of it? Yes. And I do apologize, but I have a family thing going on, and I'm going to have to exit early. So quorum is still here. I trust you all if you got to vote. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
The data subcommittee with myself and Commissioner Douglas, I do not have anything to update. The outreach subcommittee with Commissioners Roger, Belton, and Otto. And anyway, have any updates there? I know you said
I
you
do.
do.
So update, I came up with a date for the health fair, which I'm asking for June 13th. And that is going to be with us with IU Health at the Juneteenth Festival,
Oh,
which is going to be June 13th from 2 to 9. Again, I need no money. I need no anything from anyone, just a vote to say it's okay to go.
where is it?
It's going to be at the Switchyard on June 13th from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. We're doing blood pressures, A1Cs, cholesterol screenings, all free of charge. So if you guys want to come out and get your blood pressure, cholesterol, or A1C checked, stop by.
What was the time again?
From 2 to 9.
Okay.
Yeah, oh, Friday. Yes, it is a Friday.
Oh,
I'm asking if we could vote and have a go. Because we won't meet again until after. For that.
so you are proposing our support and
Yes.
potentially sweat equity if, as needed
Yes,
from
sounds
the
great.
Monroe County Women's Commission?
Correct.
I motion to approve
I have a second.
for June 9th,
I second.
June 13th.
Tiana, do you approve?
I approve.
Maria?
Yes.
Eve?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Of course.
Myself, yes. Motion passes that we support the IU Health, Monroe County Women's Commission, Public Health. Friday, June 13th, from 2 to 9 at Switchyard Park.
Do you need flyers, amplification? What can the Women's Commission do?
I just need a flyer just to put out on your social media, and I won't have time to make it because
I'll do it. I'll do
Okay.
it.
If you
Oh,
just,
Eve, do you want to do it? Because you're a marketing person, but you don't have to.
I can do it.
Okay.
yeah, you just said it, put it on your social, I'll follow and share. If everybody could share, actually.
And if you can put it in email, because I'll share it on my LinkedIn, but I don't have anything else.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We could ask to get it, I don't know, my brain, on county Facebook and such as well.
Sounds great.
Thank you.
No problem.
Do we have any other updates or from the outreach committee, subcommittee? Tiana, do you have any updates you'd like to share?
Nope, I haven't got any feedback. When I get it, I'll share it.
All right, thank you. That's it from all you all?
That's all I have.
I can't remember, I just realized, Eve, that we have not, I mean, I know this is only your second meeting, and it feels like you've already been here forever, in my opinion, which is a good thing, that we need to place you on some, or if you would like to join one of the I would say data or policy, that's where, yeah. And then we could put you on one of those. In either.
Could you tell me a little bit about both again so that I know?
Would you like to share about the policy subcommittee?
Well, read what's our.
Yeah, so our mission, the purpose statement is to evaluate county policy under a gender equity lens. So some of the work that they have been doing has been the rubric.
The jail
and-
project. They were the eyes on the jail project in the very
Yes.
beginning with
So basically, those two things is what we're, consistently working on right now. And then we always keep our eyes and ears open for any local, county happenings that pertain to women and marginalized genders. And we usually have something to say about about things.
And then the data subcommittee, it's to become more grounded in who we are through data. It has been, this is my fault that it's been really stuck. Commissioner Sobiak and I were the original members, and then when she left the commission, Maria stepped on, and I've been, since the inception, been struggling with the project as a whole, because it is pretty large, and just trying to understand what I'm looking at, and it needs some structure and focus. So if you are interested and have more than welcome to, provide that. I think it is a committee that could be easily communicated, through emails and just, those kind of discussions, but it just hasn't really gone far. So.
We changed your mind?
Yes.
Okay. The policy one honestly seems more like up my jam.
Okay.
So do that.
I was just gonna say, and also you can you not think about it and contemplate it?
Oh, yeah,
and,
absolutely. You don't have to make any decision now that you
all I
don't
was
want.
gonna say.
Yes. Do you want to think about it, or are you good?
I think about it a little bit more, but so far policy seems more interesting to me, but I
Okay.
will take a look and think about both of them.
And they can certainly, if they meet over before the next meeting, you could, I would say, join them and see if, just to be a part of it, just to see what you think, and would be probably a good idea. Yeah, good. Awesome. Other new business? No. I think we have plenty on our plate as it is. Public comment? No.
We get our first public comments. It's gonna be.
We had a public comment.
I know, but
Thomas Horrocks' guy came and said something to us.
the first day that we have like people waiting there,
Well, the problem right now is that our competition is the health board meeting, and that's pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know people how many. Yeah.
But they weren't taking public comment today because they're talking about the budget.
Nice.
See, we should have marketed that.
Anyway, I will call this meeting adjourned at 6:29 p.m. Thank you all very much.
Yay.